Today, I'm very excited to hold the inaugural meeting of the new Subcommittee on Digital Assets, Financial Technology, and Inclusion. To start, I want to thank Chair McHenry for asking me to lead this new subcommittee and for his leadership in recognizing the important need to comprehensively address the topic of digital assets. I also want to thank Ranking Member Waters for her foresight in holding that first Libra hearing back in 2019, and for creating the task forces on fintech and artificial intelligence, and for her continued engagement and willingness to work in a bipartisan manner. Finally, I'm looking forward to working with my good friend from Massachusetts and the ranking member of this subcommittee, Congressman Lynch. He's always a thoughtful partner, and we're reprising our roles that we had together leading the fintech task force a few years ago. To all the members of this committee, no matter what your views are about crypto, it's imperative that we recognize the unique role of Congress to legislate, and that no amount of enforcement actions or regulatory guidance can ever replace that or be a substitute. As a legal matter, only Congress can establish the regulatory framework for digital assets, and I strongly believe that we need that in this country. That's why this subcommittee is holding its first hearing to examine the administration's recent actions on digital assets. But let me be very clear. This hearing is not a partisan attack on the Securities and Exchange Commission or the banking regulators. We will hold other hearings to discuss the comprehensive policies, as well as the fraud and failure of FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried and the millions of people hurt by his dishonesty and scam. But it's absolutely critical that we first discuss the scope and significance of recent regulatory pronouncements and supervisory failures of the past year. By assessing the regulatory gaps, supervisory failures, and enforcement actions, we can build the case for a shared bipartisan vision of this regulatory framework. This shared goal is to protect investors, foster innovation, and ensure that America continues to lead rather than follow in this space. But by that means, Congress has to do the hard work of working across the aisle to reach a consensus and not just posturing or sticking our heads in the sand. That's why I was so glad to see Ranking Member Waters recently call on the Treasury, the Fed, the CFTC, and the SEC to get together with Congress and address digital asset regulation. We can't have the agencies trying to front-run the legislative branch. Last Congress, this committee under then-Chair Waters and Ranking Member McHenry made good progress on payment stablecoin legislation, and I believe we should work together on a product that can pass out of this committee with bipartisan support. The Treasury and the Fed were constructive partners in that process, and we want that to continue. That being said, payment stablecoins are just one part of the broader digital economic system that I hope we can bring customer protections that exist in the current financial regulatory system and cover digital assets. I'm a strong proponent of the theory and the approach. Same risks, same activities, same rules. And I believe we should create a functional framework that's tailored to the specific risks of digital assets. In fact, we need to support technological innovation. We need to ensure appropriate controls and accountability. We need to give no quarter to fraudsters, scammers, or criminals, and we need to reinforce leadership in the global financial system for U.S. competitiveness. These are the administration's own principles as outlined in their executive order for their looking at digital assets. So I look forward to hearing from our witnesses and the impact of the administration's approach and how Congress can work together on that.